AJ, good afternoon. How you feeling?
I'm doing better. I
Good.
sound worse than I really am, but this voice might be for print media.
All right, we'll try to keep that in mind.
Mhm.
Again, thanks for everything you've done for us this year. This lineup is interesting. Eric Haas's first start at first. First time Isak Paredes bats second in your order. What goes behind the method there?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, the last day of the year, it's one of the few times that I can kind of hat tip the four guys that are on the bench are guys that have grinded the entire season. They've played the most for us. Give some other guys some opportunities. We've worked Haas at first base, so why not try it? I've seen that in a couple games around the league. Yesterday, Isak, I want to get as many at bats as we can before we get out of the end of the season. He's actually put up really good at bats the last week, so it's a combination of things. Like I realize I'm sitting, four of our regulars. And honestly, those guys have grinded and done everything that we've asked the entire season. So they've earned the last day off. We'll get some other guys some playing time. Zach Short gets in there. Paredes gets in there. Hossie and Garneau both get to play. Willie gets back in the outfield. He hasn't gotten to play a lot this week. So combination of things.
I know it's mixed for you. This is a tough time for you. You're used to being in postseason play, and you're not this year,
Yeah.
and you don't get a chance to reflect just yet. But what is your feeling this time of year, knowing that this is supposed to be the best time of year
Yeah.
for all of us covering a winning team?
Well, it is the best time of the year, and as but it's only the best time of the year whenever you're in it. And when you look at last night, I couldn't wait to get home or get to the hotel, and I turned on the Mariners game and watched how the Mariners Angels game ended. And today, all those games that are going to be going on, like, I mean, obviously we're gonna compete here, but as a baseball fan, it's incredible. It's what the wild card era has been all about is giving as many teams a chance as they can. So and I hope that the taste of that is there for our players. I mean, I hope that they realize how special it is. And the more I hear our guys talk, the more I have these exit interviews that I'm doing, the more that I realize that our players get it. I mean, they've really enjoyed the winning, and we haven't even won yet. So if they're enjoying the progress that we made this season, they're going to enjoy hopefully the years to come where we're in it. And I think everybody around the club wants to be one of those teams that are still in it. There's only a few teams that can say that they're still playing for something today. We've got to work our tail off so that next year, we can be one of those teams.
All right. Lastly, from me, we had a pretty deep conversation yesterday on whether or not late season, not last game or series, but late season can make an impression on a coaching staff going into spring training next year. Can they? And if so, how? And if not, why?
Well, a little bit of, I think it's a little bit of both. I don't think it's a yes, no question. I think everybody's a little bit different. Because we can create whatever narrative we want. We can say if a player finishes strong, like that's the momentum that he needed to get into the season.
Yeah.
Or you can dangle the carrot if somebody struggles down the stretch. Same with teams. I try to stay balanced with evaluation. I try to stay balanced with understanding the different variables that are in play, and look at everybody's season as a whole, and kind of break guys down individually. So, I think it's important. I know we haven't won as many games last week. I'm not going to harp on that. I think it's a reality of, we played some close games that didn't go our way. We lost a couple of leads. We're on fumes in a couple of different areas of our team. But, you play all 162, like I said at the beginning of the season, you tally them up, and then you count how many wins you have. That still holds true to the last day. And I think next season, the progress that we made combined with the lessons learned, a lot of that last week thing is going to be erased away regardless of whether you did great or did poorly.
Hat tip to you for your accessibility. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shep. Chris McCoskey.
Yeah, AJ, just one boring beat writer question. Did Derek Hill is he going to have surgery?
I don't know yet. I'll have more info on Tuesday.
Okay.
I haven't had time to check on that.
Yeah. What, have you been sick?
Yeah, exactly. I've been taking a nap.
Well-deserved one too. If we can stay reflective on the season for just a quick second. You've talked about establishing the culture. You've talked about the buy-in. What's been the most impressive thing? Is there, other than those two things, is there Yeah, are you seeing more in the core of this, where you're at right now, the foundation, than maybe you might even have thought?
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping Tuesday was going to be more reflective than necessarily today, but I think in general, I think our guys believe that they should win today. I know that sounds like something I've said since day one because it has been. I think our players' belief matters to me more than a spin rate, or more than an adjustment at the plate, or more than base running aggressiveness. I think our belief needs to be here before we're going to go accomplish something. That in itself, from day one, I think has been something our players have bought into. We've had to learn how to apply it in the game. But look, and I think progress is key. I think we have to keep pushing because we're not close to where we need to be.
Yeah.
But it has to start with belief.
Okay. Thank you.
John Keating.
Hey, first of all, I enjoyed the Peter Brady breaking voice last night on post game. I'm right there with you. I got a cold. Most of what I was going to ask has been asked already, but the four guys who are sitting out, did you tell them that last night so they had an idea that they could come to the park today and put their feet up for the most part?
Yeah, no, I told a couple of them a couple of days ago. I told a couple of them last night. So it progressed throughout the week on what the plan was. I think in Minnesota, I talked to Miggy about his schedule scope as well. And then Robbie and Candy I told last night. Actually, Candy I told this morning. So it varied on each guy, but it gave me an opportunity to thank each of them for being pretty Iron Men in the lineup for the most part throughout the entire season.
For those of us who aren't in Chicago, what are you hearing about the weather today?
It's going to be a little bit hit or miss. It looks like it's gotten better since I got here. When I got here this morning, there was a real question on whether we'd play or whether we'd have to play in rain. But now it looks like it's a little more of a 50-50 proposition on rain. I'm sure we're going to get wet. It's Chicago. It's October. But I think all signs are pointing good.
Do you have to play this game? It doesn't mean anything to the White Sox. I mean,
no, I don't. They won't make us play in unplayable weather, but no, there's no reason to play other than the integrity of the schedule, which is important. But if it's not raining or it's not unplayable, then we would expect to play.
All right. Thanks for everything. Can I pencil you in for the Red Wings pregame show on Thursday? You good with that?
No, not on Thursday. I'm gonna be gone. I'm gonna be flying.
I'm kidding. Thanks, man.
Yep.
Jason Beck.
Hey, Jay, speaking Iron Man, I know it's a tough result for Funkhouser last night, but what has he meant for your bullpen and his ability to step up as the attrition is kind of taking its toll on other parts of your pen?
Yeah, no, he's been an incredible part of our pen. Last night in the outing in Minnesota, our two rough ones at the end for him and are not at all symbolic of how reliable he was during the season. And obviously his overall numbers are still going to be solid and good. And he's established himself as part of this pen moving forward. But his reliability and his calmness really showed through really since the beginning of the season. I think no one in that clubhouse has come further from what my first conversation was, sending him down in February to where here, I guess it was early March, to where he is today, established as a huge bridge in the bullpen. I'm really proud of his work. He took it very honestly and openly. We were pretty hard on him in March. And all he did is wait for his opportunity and then grab it and never give it back.
And at the risk of bigger picture question, but does his emergence say anything about bullpen construction and how different guys might come from different and unexpected sources?
No, but I mean bullpen arms. I mean there are. I was telling Brian Garcia yesterday. From 2020 to 2021. We know which direction he went, and from 2021 to 2022, we can see somebody completely different. Bullpen arms are pretty volatile. They come from anywhere. They can certainly take off and have incredible seasons. I was watching, the kids at Seaward last night, who's now one of the primary guys of the Mariners, was not someone with the Mets that was, overly relied upon. So it can happen, and we expect it to happen. We have to have open mind as to when and who and how, and and ultimately put together a pen that can handle the rigors of being used a lot. One of the things this season that Funk really provided was the multiple innings. And I think it caught up to him a little bit at the end. I've got to be careful with these guys throughout the season so that there's more in their gas tank next year. But the multiple innings component of the bullpen, that certainly the way I like to use the bullpen was huge, and Funk was right there in the middle of that.
Great. Thanks, AJ.
Cody Stavenhagen.
AJ, how much does Tyler, just what has he done to kind of establish himself as a guy who can be a viable starter, or maybe really put himself in the conversation for the rotation, or at least a very big role next year?
Yeah, no, I think Tyler has really solidified, his place on our club, and we still don't know where that's going to be. And if you ask him, he's going to say starter. If you ask me, I'm going to say he could start, or he could be a valuable piece in the pen. And that banter has been going on since day one. I told him I wouldn't call him a starter until he went 5 innings. He went 5 innings, and now it's pretty routine for him to go, 5+. So I think given the way he does it, which is less about, spin, or less about velo, and he does it an old fashioned way as a left-handed artist. To me, that speaks to giving him an opportunity wherever that goes. I know we're going to have that conversation in the off season about how to build him up, or what to expect out of him. The market may describe, or may make that decision for us. But the fact that we can walk into this offseason saying Tyler Alexander is going to be a part of this team, I feel pretty confident about it based on how he's pitched.
All right, thanks.
Yep.
David Lorla.
Hey, AJ.
Hey, David, I'm glad you made the last one.
Yeah, I tried popping in yesterday, but you were AWOL. So.
Oh yeah, no, that wasn't. This is 10 times better voice than you would have got yesterday.
No, understandable. At the onset of the season, I came on to one of these and opined that I thought your team was a lot better than the projections.
Yep.
And I recall that part of your response was that you really weren't too concerned with what people thought your team was. That said, do you feel that the perception of this team has changed since the beginning of the year?
Yeah, I would think so. Number one, the emergence of our young pitching has really, I think earned respect for when you come up to when you face us. We were throwing a pretty good starting pitcher at you, virtually every day. We didn't always, go 5 or 6 or 7 innings, but stuff wise, you'd hear talk of the managers and coaches, players, about how our rotation was pretty good. And then when you go out and you beat teams that we're not supposed to beat, we sweep Houston in April. We ended up sweeping the Yankees at home. We go and split season series with playoff caliber teams. We win a season series against the Tampa Bay Rays really late. I think that has to garner a little bit of respect on what we're doing. We're not where we need to be yet. We can't just pick and choose little series that make us feel good or make us look good. We have enough to work on, but I hope the view that is that our arrow's pointing in the right direction. We're putting in the work. We're putting in the preparation. We're about to have an emergence of some pretty good young talent. Hopefully that leads to more wins. We're not a winning team yet. We're under 500. But we are a team that's making progress, which leads to hope in the future.
All right. Thanks, David. Looks like the last question we have. AJ, thanks for the time. We'll see everybody post game.